episode 27 of Anvil of the South.
Are you whispering?
Okay, and this is where we find the party. You find yourself in the ceramics factory, or the ceramics business of some sort, just now taking out some of the pottery that was found within the furnace just fired, or it seems as though it was just fired many hundreds, if not thousands of years ago.
We should go back for Clint.
For
His body?
for his body?
We should give him a proper burial.
The body doesn't care.
The amount of sound that would create.
Over dirt, under
The way
dirt. I
I'm-
mean, everything's underground.
I identified this item that was in him. It's called the Eternal Soul. I wasn't able to glean anything else from it other than that. But
You mean the rock that you pulled out of his chest?
yes. So maybe he's still in there, and if we take him to my old companion, he might be able to fashion him a new body. Maybe he has access to his father's notes. He said he was going back to his manor.
Okay, so we go pick up his old body.
He can make a new one.
Are you going to pick it up?
That's back a mile. Are we gonna carry it? I can't carry
we
it.
can all carry it.
We'll die, Nasu.
Clink died.
Clink is here, and we might be able to save him. Don't yell. It's my fault that he's dead. But if we all die, then we can't do anything to make up for it.
It's not your fault.
It's not your fault, Vivian.
He followed me into these mountains. I asked him to come.
He came for his own reasons.
You would like it to be your fault, Vivian.
If any of you die, it will be my fault too, because you wouldn't be here if it wasn't for me.
Oh, don't be so presumptuous.
We all have agency over ourselves, Vivian.
I'm not your henchman.
I know, but
Okay then.
I know you. I know you. If we die, then there's nothing to be done. We need to live. And if Clink is in a new body, as long as it's Clink, it's okay, right? You should know that more than anyone. We just need him. We just need to make up for the fact that we're the ones who lived and he's the one who died. So we need to get through this. Or if you want to bring him back, you two, you don't have any stake in this. Clink cared about finding Hector because he might have answers about what this is. But if you two wanted to take this item and go back, I can do the rest of this, and I can try and survive on my own. It wasn't.
No offense, Vivian, but I think that you'd probably die.
Honestly, I feel like that
I
would
know.
defeat the purpose a little bit. I feel like I'm already waist deep in shit as it is.
Clink was the strongest of us. And he died so fast.
Look, we
I
all-
don't have a lot of stake in my life outside of this.
Yeah.
So, if this is where it ends, I'm not going to be happy because Hector won't be saved, but you both have other things. And dying here would be a sad way to go. So, if you want to leave, knowing that if you continue, it might not go well, I won't be upset. I won't feel abandoned.
That's the thing, Vivian. People die, people leave, and sometimes it's good to know how to let go. The truly sad thing is when people are taken away from you. people push you away.
We all knew the risks. Clink knew the risks.
It just doesn't seem fair that it was him.
No. None of it seems fair.
None of our deaths would have been fair. None of our deaths would have been fair.
If what you incline is true, and that he's still in that hunk of stone, then you're right. Being any more foolish and succumbing to our own deaths because of that would just be in vain. So,
If we go out the same way, I'm not above trying to maybe salvage some part of him's. He lost his arm, that was new. We could take some part of him to remember his old life back if we make it through and we come back that way.
yeah, that's fair.
It's not like they could eat him.
It doesn't seem like they touch much anyways. Okay. Do we want to attempt to explore more of the architecture that's in the pillar? Are we gonna attempt to find any more tracks of Hector and Bilphus and attempt to move on from there? We kind of need a game plan.
Do you know what he was looking for?
I have no idea. They were looking for the Zeralanomicon. I don't know what that is. But it's a book. So anywhere that is, I'm assuming that in the city is going to be our best bet. If there is a discernible, higher ranking portion of it, a library,
I have an archive.
yeah, an archive, an arcanum, anything like that.
Right.
That might be the best. But I don't think it's a bad idea to look for tracks. That might be a better guide than us trying to discern from the crumbling architecture what every building is for.
Yeah, I mean, how could we discern if it was one of those creatures or your friend? I mean, there's a mass of them just sprawling all over everything.
We ran pretty far. I don't remember where that campsite is. Otherwise, that would be ground zero where I would want to start from. Looking for another one.
Go all the way back there.
No.
If we happen upon any other tracks, I mean, I feel like it would be fairly easy to tell the difference. One of them has 4, 6, 8 limbs.
Only coming from their back.
They weren't walking with them. They were.
Some of them were, when their backs are broken, they would rely on that. But otherwise, they're bipedal.
So
Sure.
give me 10 minutes. I have a spell. I can scout for us, and we can all stay here. We're ritual casting. Find familiar.
Okay.
Interesting.
So looking around through your raven, you see a few more of the silos you remember seeing as you ran through. Small patches of land that appear overgrown amidst the tall, more industrial buildings all around you. Some are reminiscent of homes, shops possibly once existing below them, with sky bridges connecting the second floor of many of the buildings, long collapsed in many places. You see some raised areas that lead to these bridges and that lead throughout the district. Market stall areas like cubbies carved into the sides of their ramp and stone forms. A miasma seems to coat even your raven's mind in this place. A working city, ceased in a moment, no warning and no recourse to react. Flying past the ramp and underneath one of the sky bridges, you look to your left, seeing a wall you have previously not seen, fortifying the city and setting the boundaries within the Underdark, completely untouched. You see only a fraction of this eastern wall, though from what you see of the destruction all around you, the wall is entirely intact, with the exception of normal crumbling from time and weather. You see past the wall the unimaginably expansive cavity you reside in. once more gaining perspective, almost forgetting that you're entirely underground, the false moon shining brightly above from its cubby at the top of the cavern, illuminating the city and the pillar that now looms above you to your right. You continue to fly in the direction of the pillar city, scouting ahead for your party. The chained elf leaning down, looking over the district you currently fly within, its ears sawed from its form in its sculpting, like a neutering of the elven form.
Is it similar to the bodies, the creatures that we fought?
No,
Okay.
not at all.
No, sorry, I meant the ears.
Sort of in the fact that they don't have any anymore.
Okay,
but
sorry.
No. The sculpture is gigantic and impossible not to look at. Its face solemn, not sad, accepting, yet not happy. You look at the torso of the chained elven man with a heavy mind as it stems from the stone pillar on your way to investigate further, looming over a place many of these depicted possibly worked.
That's horrific.
Eventually, as you step over the boundary wall that you saw previously, the feeling of the city changes quite a bit. You see the streets narrow and the buildings grow a bit taller. Those that still stand are imposing, their pillars thicker and grooved with less artistic quality, but with more intent. The designs upon the building are few and far between, though the one you do see is the very strange symbol you saw upon the armor the elves wore in the opening hall of the city. You also see, amidst the rubble, small, tiny bits of paper, much of it decayed, though a lot of it looks to have been portions of a pamphlet that you hold.
Mm-hmm.
Your eyes now lock onto it, paper that had once been nailed to stone and buried underneath the ruins. You see it all over in many of the buildings, very much like what you originally thought, some form of propaganda.
Yikes.
You begin to get a bit of a headache, all of you. A slight humming in your head. Eupheme, you get a bit nauseous. And you see upon some of the stone embers burning, large scorch marks and the remnants of very heavy magic use. Some of the buildings entirely blown apart, some flung many tens of feet away. The roads split at some points, craters pocking the city and revealing the natural stone underneath. Strangely, the plant life seems to be growing around some of it, though some of it not so much. You see marks that have scoured the plant life in the area, and black sludge that has wilted and transformed the life into slightly quivering and squishy fibers along the periphery of the destruction. The area around you is reminiscent of a barrack. Towers collapsed into the roofs of some, others completely demolished. But the structure and lineality of this space screams militarization. You begin to see bits and pieces of those creatures strewn about as well. These look to have been wearing armor, shredded long ago by whatever transformation took them and the magic that ripped them apart. Some of them look to have been blasted apart by ice. Others lay impaled by the ruins by more stone. And others still tearing apart at the seams, blisters eating away at what little flesh remains and black sludge leaking from their mouths. As you walk through this military district, before you know it, you stand at the edge of said district, a fallen iron gate connected to a moderately sized wall that flanks the street on either side, the only thing that stands between you and a very large bridge that sprouts from the ground just beyond, a small street that curves upward towards the city upon the pillar, its form looming above you like a god. The city looms above you as you walk across the arched bridge leading to the first layer a few tens of feet above the moat-like lake below. The layers are like ribbons, twisting in each and every direction and bisected by the rough stone of the pillar. You see large pillars sprouting from the edge at parts of the layers where the streets curl into the stone, holding the city aloft and decorated with roses and their spiked vines along with the visages of various drow superimposed and carved upon a shield at the base and the top of the pillars. The layers are carved in such a way that streets jut out from below the sculpted buildings of the pillar. The layers are uneven and at some points carved into the pillar a bit more, creating large areas of road and interesting crevice-like areas within the city connected by bridges of stone, rope, and steel. You see some of the paths leading upwards into the stone and some leading further around the pillar, forcing the streets to split at certain points. And pathways made of steel and stone that are held aloft by thick chains were forced to be made. You see them arch around the stone and above the water below, connecting to a part of the lower layer not directly connected to the main street of the pillar city. The streets of the upper layers come out just at the edges of the building of the layer just below them, no lips above each layer. Each street is about 40 feet wide at most points, forcing the upper layers far into the stone. The buildings that aren't built directly into the backs of the layers spill off the sides of the pillar like water, falling down the sides for multiple stories and accented by lips and divots in their shape, along with balconies that look out over the city, pillars flanking them on either side. Each of the buildings are similar to the buildings below, though they look more regal. All of them more like temples in aesthetic, with just a tad more couth. Less of these buildings are entirely ruinous, though some have crumbled, leaving large pocks in the stone and in some places collapsed the layer above them. However, you see the general layout of the city. Remnants of statues long fallen within the rather wide street. You see sculptures of armor-clad, Arolindish women between some of the buildings where no structures were sculpted. They stand fairly tall and appear to crawl from the stone at about 20 or so feet tall. The streets are made of the same cobbled stone as the rest of the city, precisely laid within the limits of the road and bathed in light from the false moon. Looking to either side of you, the layer stretches for about half a mile in each direction, the paths eventually carving into the stone, pillars lining the south side of the path, creating a mask of stone and a semi-open tunnel. So you explore this first layer, looking up at the towering structures and exquisite architecture. You walk first, as you explore, to a tall tower of sorts that stretches to the top of this first layer, actually accessing the next layer from its roof, it seems. The first 2 floors of the building is built deeper into the stone than the upper floors and much larger, creating a spire-like design in the same vein as the rest, as well as creating a large area underneath supported by large pillars with a small overgrown garden amidst all of it. Walking in, you see the vines and various other plants wrapping around the pillars and a large chandelier dangling lopsidedly from the center, pulled down by plants that have latched onto it and dragged it slightly downward. You find the front entrance, an open archway flanked by 2 chained male elvish figures holding the archway aloft, their thick stone chains sinking into the ceiling above them as they kneel and struggle against the weight of the building. Would you like to go in?
Yes.
Okay. Walking in, you find yourself in an empty foyer, the stone polished in a deep black and gray stone. You see 4 pillars holding the room aloft and groin-vaulted ceilings between them, all painted and washed out gold, rimmed with greenish-blue rim and flicks of vines that course through the ceiling. To your right, you see stairs that lead up to the other floors, angling to the right as you look at it, and revealing a previously unseen stained glass window, previously covered by the floor that had taken over the outside. Looking to the left, you see a small hall leading to a possible kitchen, a door in front of you, past the pillars, and a door to your right. All the doors are barely standing, thin and without any real strength left, more paper than anything else.
Can I raid the kitchen?
So you're going to the left of the kitchen.
I'll follow him. in the
You're
kitchen,
following him.
Yeah.
Up the stairs.
You're going up the stairs.
I'm
Okay,
gonna
so
find a study, motherfucker.
walking towards the kitchen area. Remember, there are 3 doors on the first floor, just so you're aware. Just letting you know that it's not
The
just
one
the
door is
second floor.
upstairs, one door is kitchen, one door is
No. So you didn't see any rooms upstairs. It was just
No.
a
The
staircase.
one door is the stairs.
No.
Oh.
It's right in front of you there was a door, to the right there was a door, and to the left there was a kitchen area.
I'll
Right.
look at the first floor doors before I go upstairs, just to.
I was just saying if you're looking for any rooms in particular, you haven't explored any of the rooms.
No,
on the
sure.
first floor.
That is.
You
it
can
is.
go up to the second floor.
It is my current age understanding that studies are on the second floor, which is a weird assumption
It's a
that.
tower,
the-
so
Yeah, I know.
there's like
Well, you get what I mean. I'm gonna go through the first 2 drawers on the first floor
'Cause
before I
water
go up the
damage.
stairs.
You get water damage on the first floor.
Yeah,
If
obviously.
anything.
Also, you
100%
need
with all
windows.
this rain that
Well,
occurs in the-
you
in the
need
Underdark.
windows to look out onto your gardens and look down at everybody else.
While
That's
you're
what
reading,
studies are for.
yeah.
Exactly, in your armchairs with your corncob pipe. I'm gonna check the 2 doors on the bottom floor before I go.
You're gonna. Which one are you going first?
Straight ahead.
Straight ahead. Okay, so walking towards the kitchen, you two. You walk underneath a wide archway accented with thick stone bricks and into a large area filled in its center by a double-sided stone and metal countertop. The perimeter of the room also accented with long, decrepit wooden tables as well as stone and metal cooking utensils. At the far end of the room, now noticing the incredibly tall ceiling here, you see an area carved further into the stone and held aloft by 2 rather bland pillars. Above this area, you see a plethora of pots and pans hanging from bolts long plunged into the stone, as well as a clock, which arms have stopped moving. Within the space, you see a very large open oven with remnants of rotisserie utilities within ruinous racks.
Nice alliteration. We gotta get some stuff to cook with.
If you guys want to make an investigation check to try and find some stuff, for like cute cooking utensils is what you're looking for.
Ancient Airlundi cooking utensils. If we make it
I'm
out, that's
sorry,
brag-worthy.
Do you have foodstuffs on you to cook?
Well, if I did, then I'd be without these supplies, right? Well, what if I get them later?
Or if you eat the foodstuffs later
Yeah.
to cook? Okay. Alright, yeah.
I have a mushroom, but I mean, eventually we're gonna need these.
Sounds good. So make an investigation check. 22. Yeah, very easily you scrounge up some very ancient, but still very well-preserved metal cooking utensils from the Arolendi. You would guess that these cooking utensils worth no less than a couple hundred gold.
Wow!
They are thousands of years old from a civilization long lost to time.
If they don't kill me when I show it to them.
And you got a good plate, too.
In the room to the right, past the stairs, you open the door, and as soon as you do so, the door tumbles down a set of the stairs, crumbling and crackling on its way down.
Sorry.
You
I
watch.
didn't mean to make all this noise.
You watch the bits and pieces of the door fall down,
This is
turning.
my face the whole time.
Yeah, turning into a pile of decrepit wood dust and bits of metal at the bottom of the stairs. Just. You sit there. You hear nothing. You continue down?
I'm gonna give it a good, 1 or 2 more minutes.
Okay.
And then I will go down.
So, yeah, what are you doing in this time?
Okay, so I rolled 16 on survival, so you know.
Yes. So yeah, you make a pretty well made map of what you remember.
Okay, great. And then, can I walk out to the sound of that?
Yes. So you both hear this, and I'm just gonna say you are both. You have your cooking utensils all set up and put in your bag. You guys walk out just as she touches the door, and it just.
I'll just
Downstairs.
turn around.
Okay.
And I point to the other door that was open.
Okay. So you guys heading
And
out?
then I'm gonna go down, yeah.
Okay.
I'll follow.
Sneaky! I have an English.
Stealth check then.
Yeah. Mother fig.
22.
23.
9.
Okay.
Beautiful.
The stair is unlit and leads down a moderately long way, probably around 20 feet or so, and curving gradually like a lazy spiral to the left. Yeah, so you let loose some globules of light. You walk down slowly, eventually coming to an incredibly damp and musty room. Before your globules light the room, Vivian and Nasu can partially see it. It looks squarish, with no decorations upon the walls, no remnants of paintings or hooks where tapestry used to hang. Just fungus and an abundance of spores that fill the air like a thick dust. You heading back up?
Is there a creature?
No, you don't see anything moving around in there.
I'm gonna like cover my face with my mantle.
Okay, make a constitution check.
Can I take my water skin and like, you know, put it on a cloth or something and do that?
You want to waterboard yourself?
No, I'm not like making it wet.
I know.
Okay.
I know. Yes, you are able to do that. Make it thicker, more likely to attract particles.
So that they don't get through.
Yes, yeah, 100%.
23.
23, okay. Yeah, make a cons check.
have-
With advantage, because you had that neat little idea.
Beef.
Yeah.
Beef?
I have beef in the Constitution.
He just slaps a steak on her face.
Slaps a full bit of meat onto my face.
15.
15. You going down?
No.
Okay, so you're staying back.
Yeah,
No.
I'm
So you
staying
see
back.
that, okay.
I'm just watching them going.
Okay. Looking around as you walk in, breathing, it does smell even through your masks.
Sure.
Smells like earth, but also a bit like a cleaning solvent sorts. Looking around, you see mushrooms growing viciously from the walls and upon fallen bunk beds and out of what look to be partially mummified remains. The bodies stuck to the floor and plastered into corners by fungus. Seeing is difficult in this room due to the mass amount of spores floating within the space and clouding your vision. Make an investigation check if you want to look around.
Let's get it.
The temptation to reanimate one of these fungus bodies is
I'll cast
unimaginable.
Guidance on Vivian.
Okay, guidance.
Thanks. How
Just
much is it?
remembered I have that spell.
A D4?
Yeah, I think it's a D4.
I would like that, please. Nice. Sorry. 16. Thank you for guidance.
Investigation? 14.
14? Okay. So as you look around, you see sort of behind one of the mummified remains, trapped in this fungus, mouth ajar, cocked to the side, what appears to be a brick, fingernails sticking out of them, as if someone had tried very hard to remove it.
I remove the brick, please.
Okay, so you remove it. As you do so, you disturb the skeletal piece. The skull rolls off onto the ground, crumbling slightly as it does so.
What kind of skeleton is it? Can I tell?
Make a medicine check. You remove the brick, and you find this partially remaining.
Medicine, I rolled a 15.
15? This looks elvish.
Is it Valencruz? The name? I just don't want to butcher it. Whatever. To Valencruz, my lovely daughter. I have seen terrible things during my tenure within Telemund Vas Derire. That was bad. But if you see it,
Just
it's,
bold.
It is
it's spelled
Telemund.
that.
It is Telemund Vas der Ire.
I fucking did it right!
You did.
Okay. Sorry. The brutality of a twisted monarchy, the bastardization of our faith, and the warping of our traditions. What I've seen the most, though, is the corruption of our people. I am sure you were told I was slain in combat, or that I betrayed the Erlendi, that I sold my soul to the Dragon King. No, I am not guilty of any of the above, but I needn't even refute it, for it is beyond ludicrous. That leaves me abandoning you, leaving you to rot in an orphanage. How absolutely abhorrent that would be. No, my sweet daughter, I did no such thing. I would never abandon you, ever. It eats at my soul each time I imagine your face as you think that that would ever happen. But how would you know any better? I did not abandon you. I did not abandon our people. I was simply born a different sex than the supposed sex of our new goddess. I was stolen in the night for being a masculine Erlendi, and you were taken to become one of them, the chosen. You are no doubt being poisoned against me, poisoned against all the men of the Erlendi, shaped into a warrior of Lolth. I have no doubt of this. You must know, this poisoning of us against one another is not to the benefit of the Erlendi. It is to the benefit of an evil goddess who wishes to use us to whatever ends they have concocted in the pits beyond our plane. It is to shape us into callous beings, beings filled with hate, so that we may become just as our enemies have become. It all matters not, for I will be dead soon. The monsters that remain of our people rest just outside, and I am unable to open the broken door for fear of alerting them of my presence. You are a gift our people have thrown away, a gift they never deserved. You will not read this, most likely no one will. But if you do, by some miracle, you drive the monsters back, and our people live once more, just know, I love you more than the life that thrums within my body, more than all the gods, more than anything. Love, First Lieutenant Carmirius to Kiridnai.
Elven names or something different.
Gotta make sure that I'm not missing anything.
One of the other letters we picked up, it mentioned Lolth too, right? Or
I
did you
mentioned
just-
Lolth.
You mentioned Lolth.
Yeah, they mentioned some sort of goddess of greed.
Right, but Lolth isn't.
Lolth is the goddess of destruction, pain, and torture.
Do you think a goddess of destruction, pain, and torture would tell you that they're a goddess of destruction, pain, and torture?
No, you're correct.
Just, I don't know. I wouldn't.
So, what do you think that Erlendi were doing this odd transmutation bullshit under false pretenses?
I guess. I mean, I have no idea. I just know that they didn't at one point. And then we have that pamphlet that you saw everywhere, and it was mostly motivated by a jaded rage. So,
I feel like we're still missing a lot of pieces of the puzzle, and this is not a corner piece.
It's just odd that, obviously, the
Good saying.
creatures outside, the ones who died in here, were not affected by whatever happened to everyone else outside. They knew.
I don't know if it's death.
What was in there?
There was a
Just
skeleton in there.
Multiple.
Oh, multiple skeletons.
Normal bodies,
And a
not
lot of fungus.
warped and fungus, which is strange.
Huh. But like preserved skeletons.
In the fungus, yes.
Okay.
Did it seem like magical fungus?
Look like fungus left to grow uninhibited with a lot of decaying shit
Yeah.
for many, many years.
Alright. Well,
If that happened to everyone outside, and they were taken prisoner for being male Erlendi, but they weren't turned into those creatures. It's just odd. I don't know what they were doing here.
Dying.
Well, yes, they didn't want to open the door because they were afraid that those creatures were going to be here. But what were they doing?
Make an intelligence check for me.
Oh, am I stupid?
Make an intelligence check.
Oh my god, I'm dumb. Oh no, I'm gonna use my big pretty dice. 22.
You would guess that, judging by the layout of the building and where they were, those were slaves.
Oh, they're just like a
Servants' quarters.
slaves' quarters, yeah.
Mhm.
Okay.
Up until this point, I just assumed. I mean, there's the depiction of that huge chained individual. Just assumed that was a slave.
And the fact that they seem to be putting statues of slaves everywhere.
Erlendi having slaves, is this new?
No, it's just
Erlendi are new to me.
I mean, yeah, I'm asking maybe.
it's just well, I mean, it's the way this is phrased, it was something that happened. It wasn't the way of everything. It was something that was introduced.
by love.
No, but just the pretenses of the slavery within
No,
the
it's
Erlendyne
just-
culture might be.
What's odd about it is that everyone outside of this wall, I'm assuming, and this is conjecture, they were the ones turned into those creatures. But the people here weren't.
In this tower.
In this area. Why are you looking at me like
What area are you talking about?
here? Well, I mean,
In the city?
yeah,
Okay.
At least from what we've seen so far. But there are a bunch of dudes out there, and these are normal bodies. I don't know, fuck. We didn't see any bodies anywhere else, and now we find bodies. I'm trying
Well,
to come up with
look,
something.
we got. We can talk much more after we. There's a lot more to look at.
yes,
Suppose.
tuck that in my bag.
So you leave that building. Looking around, you don't see any buildings of particular interest, or they are fairly ruined. So you begin to hike up towards the upper layers, seeing craters along the rim of this layer from where buildings toppled into the water below, and ruins of buildings and the craters they created from falling from the upper layers above, causing a cascade of destruction. Walking over the bumps and steep hills that make up the first layer, impeding your view at times. Just above the tunnel's entrance, you see strange hunks of material that dangle limply from the stone. Patches of it upon the stone leading up a bit past the second layer, many feet above you. Looking around, you also see strands of thick white string that is dried atop a few of the buildings just outside of the tunnel.
You
And
suck
some of it
so
looks
much.
to have dried upon the stone itself, wrapping around.
You suck so much.
You walk into the semi-open tunnel that curves into the pillar and up into the next layer.
I'm so upset.
Spiderweb. It looks like giant spiderweb. The light of the false moon casts shadows upon the pillars that line the tunnel to your left.
I'm about to burn some bugs.
Sorry, to your right, granting you intermittent views into the cavity you find yourself within. You enter into a momentary darkness as the tunnel switches back to the left, and the incline steepens slightly, sending you to the upper levels. As you exit the tunnel and step foot onto the second layer of the city, you feel that this layer is a bit smaller than the last. The buildings that rest to your right come a bit closer to the road, and the buildings that spill off the side and the stone wall are a bit narrower. You're still unable to see the end of this layer from where you stand due to the curvature of the city and the protruding stone structures and outcroppings that impede your view. But it does feel a bit more constrictive, more packed in. You walk through the space. Many of the buildings here also collapsed, turned to ruins by time. Eventually, you see a stone ramp that cuts through the center of the second layer, leading to the third, and a path continuing off to the left side of it and towards the remaining stretch of the layer. But you are not leaving this second layer as of yet.
And keep stealthing, obviously.
You enter into a building that spills off the edge of this layer. You walk through, very much purposefully, by the way. It looks to have been built off the edge and sort of like water off purposefully. It's not like it's crumbling and you're entering into a building that's like leaning off
Okay,
this
good.
60-foot cliff. All of you have above 10 intelligence. You walk through the decrepit double doors and find yourself in a dark hall. The ragged remnants of a long rug stretches in between a small row of pillars that hold aloft the banister of a second floor open on either side of you. There is thick with dust and debris, but a bit of light seems to seep in from a large and partially shattered stained glass window that covers the entire far wall. The window looks to be shaped like the hilt of a sword, much of it long destroyed, though what you can make out is some of the coloration. Dirty blue and deep reds that splash upon bubbled and expertly crafted glass. Just before the window are two sets of stairs that lead up to the second floor on either side of the large window, and also combine into a single stair that curls down into a spiral down into the lower levels that spill off the ledge. What would you like to do?
Is there any thing on the windows?
Doesn't look like it.
Any depictions of anything?
No, it just looks like a sword hilt. And then as you look down the spiral, it looks to be a sword that goes down the entirety of it.
Do I recognize the sword? Does it look like
It looks like a longsword.
Okay.
It doesn't look like
But it
anything
doesn't look
in
like
particular.
the promised prince.
No. I knew what you were getting at. Walking up to the second floor, you find yourself looking down at the entrance from which you entered from. You walk upon a stone pathway that looms over the foyer and connects like a U towards the back, the other side. A couple rooms branch off of each side. Some of them have no ceiling, open to the rest of the cavity and overgrown with mushrooms of the Underdark. In the others, you find the remnants of skeletons, though most of them missing. All of the rooms of this smallish second floor appear rather small. A viewing window out to the street, once latted like a pine cone and furnished well, now merely a stone room that smells of dank stone. If you want to make an investigation check, you can.
Sure.
Okay.
I'm trying to figure out what this building is for. 7.
Okay. All you notice is that there are bits and pieces of skeletons, but you don't see any full ones.
Oh no, did they get eaten?
Interesting.
Yes.
Did they get taken?
By other necromancers.
Or to be put together in transmutation bits? I don't know.
So, walking down the staircase to the lower levels, you feel the breeze funneling through the broken glass and the light from the moon seeping in through the colored glass, changing your vision slightly as you progress downwards. Looking out gives you a slightly queasy feeling in your stomach, assuming you'd see ground rather close, but instead seeing it many, many feet below you, and the city even greater distance away and below. After a short walk down the steps, you find a small ledge off the stairs before it continues, and a doorway leading back north towards the stone.
Sorry, so there's a doorway.
There's a doorway,
And then
a
more-
small. You have a small ledge,
Yeah.
doorway, more stairs that spiral down.
Okay. And the doorway is leading out onto this. Okay.
No.
Okay, cool. Sorry.
It's
Am I
leading into the
I'm
stone.
all fucked up with the window. I'm like, is there a terrace? That's cool. Okay.
I don't know. We could keep going down and then check that one on the way back up.
It's up to you.
How decrepit does that door look?
Pretty decrepit.
Can you catch the door if I open it?
Here, let me try. let me, and then I will. Is there a way to like grab the door with both hands?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, you can grab a door with two hands, Nasu.
Yeah. And then I grab it, and then I just like, yeah, I want to try to
Strength check.
swing it open.
Okay. Strength check.
You're strong.
Are you moving back down to them?
Oh yeah. If I don't find anything else, I'll go back down.
Okay. So, but
It's
you,
not a ledge.
yeah, not yet. He does not get here. But what was your check?
14.
14. Okay. Yeah. So you sort of swing very gently and sort of and set it down off to the side. Okay. You enter into the room, musty and filled with the smell of mildew. It appears lit by two large windows on either side of the door, a ways off from the entrance. Also, partially stained and lighting the room through its orange and white colorations, though most of both of them are broken. The room looks to have once been a bedroom of some sort. A few bones scatter the rather empty space, as well as splinters of wood and stone. You see two false mirror sculptures within the stone on either side, sinking into the stone and depicting something similar to a vanity mirror of some sort. However, you see carved within the stone water spilling from the depths of the stone mirror and curling down its form, resting in a pool of hard rock that is depicted rippling, much like actual water might. Quite masterful. On either side of the mirror, sculpting, are waves of water that crash in towards each other and curling at their ends. You notice now the room isn't quite square, but rather somewhat rounded with soft edges. Its ceilings are quite tall as well, and now noticing a fire pit at the center of the room, long empty. At this point, Eupheme comes in.
I'd like to investigate the area
Investigation.
How's that door look?
Looks fine.
Who picks
Looks
up
like
a
if
door?
I touch it, it'll crumble.
Fuck my.
I think
I'm
I'm
just
good.
gonna-
I think I'm good.
Okay.
That's the second two I've
Can I
rolled
just
with
help?
that dice.
Again?
Did you already roll?
No.
Sure.
Yes.
I
That
will
is
look
this-
around too.
That is
Investigation
the second
check.
2 I rolled with that dice, which is now back in my
And-
scroll.
oh,
Wow,
you're-
and a 4. 10.
Oh my
It's up
god.
to me.
Okay.
22.
22.
Thank you. Thank
So
you.
what you do find is nothing of material worth, but you do see on the bones, it looks like a leg of some sort, just one leg. But what's curious about it is that there are no markings upon the bone. Dust accumulates on it, and there are no scour marks by the joints. Looks untouched.
But it's like a leg that's just
It's a leg that's lying on the floor.
lying on the floor apart from anything else.
Whole, like, intact. The joints long decayed. If you think that if you touched it, the femur would just move away. It's not connected to any sinews of any sort. Those long gone. The only markings that you see upon the bone are a bit near the joint.
What kind of like is it like a gnawing marking?
It's such a small marking. The only reason you noticed it was because of the 22, but not large enough to discern what type of marking it might be.
I'll point it out to Vivian.
Make a medicine check.
Can I use advantage because of my feet?
No, because you're not trying.
Yes,
fine,
yeah.
This
Shit.
doesn't.
14.
14? No.
Yeah.
This doesn't make much sense. There's nothing here that would decompose, a body to such pristine.
Well, time will just decompose a body.
Oh.
It's
Yeah,
just,
bacteria exists everywhere.
Oh, okay, fair.
Yeah.
It's just weird that
Never mind.
it's
I didn't say anything.
by itself. It's just by itself and all. The mysteries.
You walk down the stairs once more, curling around the center pillar that holds the stairs aloft and traversing down deeper into the building. You find another ledge that juts out from the stairs before continuing down. You notice that the door is closed, not decrepit whatsoever, and as you gather closer, your feet shuffling on chalky stone, you hear a shuffling from within, along with what sounds like bony fingers clashing and grinding against stone emanating from within. But the door looks untouched.
Yes.
I mean, maybe you can sneak in. You have a teleport spell. You teleport out if it's really bad.
You have to see where you're going with Misty
Yeah,
Step,
I
by the
can't
way.
teleport through doors.
Oh, that's not useful.
You know what
You
that's
can-
called? Balanced.
Mousy doesn't know what balance is.
You are a gunslinger. After all.
Can I try to hear how many there are?
Perception check.
Mm-hmm.
19.
19. So you hear sort of dragging sound along with what seems like almost like what you imagine run to the bone fingers would sound like scraping across a chalkboard. But you only hear one set of sounds that you can hear.
Okay. I think it's odd that it's not just doing nothing like the rest of them. Whatever's in there.
Yeah, I found that curious as well.
It sounds to be coming towards you,
Mm-mm.
as if it heard you guys come down the stairs.
Are we going down? We're going still down, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so you guys are going down.
If it doesn't open the door. If it does. Nasty.
13.
27.
8.
You continue down the spiral
What's the
stairs.
average of that?
Wait, let us. The accountant is tabulating.
It's like
Carried
12.
me.
That is an average roll of 16.
Okay, that's not too bad.
That is not bad.
Okay,
That is not bad.
You continue down the spiral stairs, traveling past the tip of the broken stained glass sword and becoming awash in steely and yellow light that shines through the remaining stained glass. However, you hear a slight shift just at the bottom of the stairs, as if something have shifted upon dusty stone just beyond the curvature of the stairs.
But we don't see anything.
No? You just see the curve of the stairs. Okay.
I think there's something down there. Do we continue on, or do we go back?
We can try and sneak around it. If it notices us, I am not inclined to fight it in a decrepit building. I'm not inclined to fight it inside anywhere.
No, absolutely, yeah. So if it notices you, you
So-
polymorph it.
I'll polymorph it.
Okay.
Then we have an hour.
Wait, why don't you want to fight it?
I am not a very quiet fighter.
Fighting makes noise.
Running makes noise.
Right. Polymorphing does.
Running,
Polymorphing is a good idea,
yes.
I think.
Do
I'm
you have
kind of.
a better inclination?
I would rather just murder it quickly.
Oh yes, because it was so quick when we murdered
What
the
are you
other
guys
ones.
doing?
There was 3 of them last time.
Oh my goodness. Vivian, can you at least just go see what is going on?
I should go see.
Okay, fine, you go see.
So you're peeking around?
Sure.
You carefully peek past the wide curve of the spiral staircase, seeing first the corner of a door, then the face of 2 of the creatures staring back at you with eyeless
damn it.
sockets.
It's staring at me?
Huge. Just staring back. Eyeless sockets and circular mouths. As soon as you peek your head around the corner, you hear the creak and crack of the creatures as they begin to stumble towards you. Their spider-like limbs skitter across the walls and floor, sprinting at you from the bottom of the stairs, and their leathery skin barely keeping their innards within their body like a leathery wallet. All of you roll initiative.
I'm looking.
We could.
Temporarily out of combat.
I'm looking to see if that alerted anything.
Okay. You look out over the city. You see nothing.
Mm-hmm. Do I hear any more? We're still in the hallway. Well, no, we're on the landing of the stairs. Do I hear any more scurrying or shuffling? Or anything getting closer? Okay.
We have to go fast.
Do you want to check the room now?
Wait, hold on, what do we do this?
Do you want to hide first and
Yeah,
wait
yeah,
until
we
things
go
calm down?
hide in the room. There's one below this one. Go hide. Maybe we can take a short rest.
You wanna-
So where are you guys going? The first floor down. Okay. So you enter back into the room with the
leg.
The single leg
single
bones.
leg.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So
Short rest.
taking a short rest. So you guys sit down near the old fire pit. And you begin to take a short rest. Okay, so what are you guys doing? Now you guys have rested.
Would you like to go down? Or are we opening this door?
Well, yeah, the door's down.
Well, the door at the very bottom or the second door down.
Right.
Oh yeah. I mean, we could go all the way down and then try it when we come back up.
I'm fine with that.
Alright.
Sure, that makes sense.
Okay. So you guys go down to the bottom. You don't hear anything from the bottom. However, you do notice that there are 2 sets of footprints in the dust, as if dust had just been piling on top of unmoving feet.
This is so fucking eerie.
That's horrendous.
Yeah, it's
That's
like
crazy.
it's terrible that these fucking souls are just in there suffering, and the body is just.
This door, by the way, looks untouched as well.
It's just odd that. I mean, what purpose were these supposed to serve if they've outlasted? I mean, okay, well, maybe it's that
they tried to control it and they couldn't. But what horrific magic to last for this long.
Absolutely. I mean, Vivian, you get busted up thinking you're gonna get punished for using necromancy. You don't do anything like this shit.
I could, and I think that's what people are worried about.
Could you? Really?
I mean, if I got stronger.
Okay,
I'm gonna say right now, this does not look anything like necromancy you've read about or seen.
Okay, but you haven't, Vivian.
Do you want to?
No. But people, I mean, this isn't necromancy, but I think the point is that the potential for.
Yeah, okay, but when you die, you don't get punished for all the bad things you could have done.
I don't know.
Does the door look dangerous?
So the door looks untouched,
It's untouched.
and you see gouges lining the outside, slipping inward towards the door as the creatures must have tried for a long time to get in.
Interesting.
That is nasty. Okay.
Okay. Okay, let me, and I want to try to do the same thing. Hold on to it and.
Okay, so you try and hold on to it.
Mm-hmm.
Shut.
This one isn't decrepit like the other one.
Looks untouched.
Okay, is there a lock?
You see a door handle.
Oh my god.
It's locked.
Okay.
And there's no keyhole.
No.
Is it a stone door?
It is a metal and wooden door.
Well, that sucks because, okay, the area next to it is stone though?
Pretty thick stone, yeah.
How thick?
You have no way of knowing.
I would like to cast stone shape.
You cast the spell upon the stone, and a 5-foot cube of stone sort of begins to funnel out like water and attach onto the rest of the stone, making the rest of the stone thicker. And you look in, it appears to be a study of some sort.
Sorry. I mean, I'm trying to wheeze instead of shout, I guess.
You don't see anything.
Yes, that is not a
What'd
surprise.
you roll?
I didn't. Oh. Not good.
Okay. You just find another pitch black room as you look in to try and see. It smells of old death and books.
Shit.
Classic. This is exactly my kind of room.
I'll cast light on my sword.
Okay, so you cast light on your sword. So, as you crawl through,
I want to sneak through.
okay, make a stealth check.
Smart.
I'll do the same.
You didn't say that before you entered
That's
through.
very smart. No, you're fair. That's fair. That's very fair.
What'd you roll?
24.
Nice.
Yo.
Okay, so you enter in from the rear, stealthily. You go in. You find yourself in a smaller room than the one up top. A very finely crafted desk in the center of the room, with a single paper upon its form, with a couple of books haphazardly strewn about its surface as well. A small brazier hangs gently from the ceiling, along with some paintings hanging from the walls just above some of the more tables flanked by bookshelves. Directly behind the desk is a lounge space, accented by a very exquisite area rug with mirrored geometric designs on red, blue, white, and gold colored fabric. Upon the rug are 2 armchairs, and above the fireplace is a nice painting. As you look about the room, you all see this. As you look about the room, you see a limp arm hanging from the armchair, the rest obscured by the deep lip of the chair. You get closer and you see a mummified body, wearing a rather nice billowing undershirt underneath a button-up vest with a silver pocket watch dangling from its pocket. The corpse looks female, and appears to have been grasping at their throat weakly with their right hand. And thinking back, you hear, as you made the passageway, you did hear a slight...
Oh, wow.
Crammed into the seat, you find this.
Yeah. Used up all our oxygen. What's that? Oh no, we found a magical item.
Wait, no. You find this.
Oh. Okay, this looks more like it's crumpled.
Wrong one.
Glad I didn't start reading it out loud. I was just about to start reading it out loud.
Yeah.
Oh man.
Oh no.
My last moments are spent thinking of my craft. How sad. I think not of the family I once had or the monstrosities at my door, but my work. How unfortunate that is. I suppose I think not of my craft specifically, but what will become of...
Do it. Do it.
Urathik.
Urathik. What will become of Urathik once the Erlandi have either killed themselves or been driven to extinction by those above? I do so hope humanity uses them wisely. Otherwise, why did we create it? Why invent such an equalizer against magic if not for the protection of the weak? At this point, I am nothing but a hoarder of magical creation, and the Urathik I had once toiled to create. This part of the cycle is never truly as easy as we proclaim it to be, is it? As I said, I will become known for the tangible items I've left behind, not the relationships I have forged, nor the substance of my character. No, for we have thrown that all away. No longer will the gods see who I truly am. No longer will my friends traverse through the river of mortem to be with me in the next life. We have forsaken ourselves. We have lost everything.
Upon the desk, you two find a couple of fountain pens and a pamphlet of paper, the same you found at the campsite down in the city. The same propaganda piece. You also see a few books upon the table as well, to be fiction, all of them.
Erlendi fiction?
You want to look at the ones that are on the...
Yeah,
on
I want to look at the fucking Erlendi books.
Okay.
Smut.
Is it smut?
Oh my.
So the first book you find is Lycanthropy, Good or Evil. You look at the discrepancies between certain curses, and as you look at the back, it seems to be a guide to the behavior between the various types of lycanthropes found in the world. You see one says, How to Cook a Good Mushroom, a guide to mushroom cooking and vegetarian meals that accent the mushroom flavor. You see Edible Plants Found Within Caves, a rather comprehensive guide to edible flora found within the damp caves of Adamas.
I'd like to give the last two. I'd like to, as he reads that, just kind of...
Thank you.
You now have a way to find out which is edible in this place.
Awesome. Lit.
But you also see 4 bookshelves, two in the corners at the far end of the room, and 2 by the other. You also see 2 workbenches on either side, or in between on either side of the room. As you look at them, they appear to be rather empty, though they are lined with arcane symbols that you remember lined Osiren's arm. You also see tools that
Were very
Osiren
similar.
used.
Wow. Damn.
Osiren was here. You fools, you only knew half my Bex.
Osiren created artificering.
If you had to guess, this was an artificer's study.
Yes. May I please take a little look-see at the bookshelves?
Sure. You do notice one other thing with that roll, by the way. Looking at the painting,
Yeah, damn it.
you see a tiny gap, not this big, and you... A safe behind the painting. A combination safe, though it looks thick of steel.
These tools?
There is no opening.
Can I attempt to?
Sure,
tumbler?
make a perception check.
Okay, 13.
Okay, so you unable to hear any tumblers. It's thick steel. You also notice some arcane runes of abjuration around the safe. So you do find some books. You find one titled War of My Heart, a tale of an elvish woman driven to love a member of the Ravensail family during the War of the Chaos Kings.
Oh, shit.
Take that shit hard.
However, this is most certainly fiction, and you're looking at the word Ravensail, and you're like, Chromast?
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
it's a Chaos King smut book.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Okay, so you put that in there.
History can be found in fiction, y'all.
Uh-huh.
Okay, hold on. What was it called one more time?
War of My Heart. You also find a couple other books.
Mm-hmm.
Ranger, I Barely Knew Her.
Nope.
Okay. A story of a gnomish man confronted by townsfolk after an elvish ranger had been found dead in the woods.
Oh.
Okay. You find the power of seven spells, a somewhat homoerotic fiction within the towers of the seven sages.
This artificer was horny, bro.
I'm gonna
Will
take
be
that
known
one too.
by the artifacts I leave behind.
Yeah.
Not with my relationship.
What was it called? What was it? Sorry, what was it called again?
The power of seven spells.
Yikes. Okay.
The fourth book that you find that's interesting, How to Drink, an Elf's Guide. A point-by-point guide to dwarvish alcohol written from the perspective of an elf.
I know I'm tinfoil hatting, but you know how much I make fun of you about the alcohol list, and so part of me is like, the code is written in the alcohol book because he knows I won't take the alcohol book. So I'd like to take the alcohol book and look at the front page and the back page.
Okay, so again, it just looks to be a couple lists of you actually know some of these stores.
Oh my god. Thousands of years later.
Yep, the same Colonel M is one of the first cities that are listed, and it just goes over some of the finest mouthfeels of the land.
Don't say the
within
word mouthfeel.
it.
Okay, I put that back.
Okay, so
I'd go to the next one over, to the right.
Okay, so you go to the one that's in the left corner.
Hmm.
So you see 2 and 2 together at last. And you look at the back. A tale of two mathematicians fated to be apart, but they found a way.
That's,
Okay.
I don't like math.
Gravely mistaken.
The wizard?
Yeah.
It's two and two together.
I like bone magic. Do I look like...
Okay. Gravely mistaken. A gravedigger who digs a grave only to find another already placed there in an unmarked plot of land. Who could it be?
I'll take that book.
So you take that book.
What's it called again?
Gravely mistaken. You see the third book, Catapults and How to Build Them. A very light read on how to build siege weaponry and storm a city, but it has fantastic illustrations from what you can see flipping through.
Books are really heavy.
Hmm.
I'll put that one back.
Tales of the Mouse King, Volume 1. The defense
Fuck you.
the defense of the Hagren Depths. And you see on the back, the fictional retelling of the Battle of Hagren Depths, a small mining town within the central regions of Arntuk Spine, a telling by an Erlendi who supposedly met the Mouse King or one of his bards.
Yeah, I'm taking the fucking Mouse King book, obviously.
Tales of the Mouse King, Volume 1, The Defense of the Hagren Depths.
Interesting.
So you're going to the one near the fireplace on the far right corner, and you'll do the one right next to the door. Okay.
Right.
So what you
I
find...
already did the one next to the door.
No, on the right side.
Right.
You did the left. Okay. So on the far right shelf, you find the Tales of Flauntus, the Ruse of Ferdulum. On the back, it says the great archmage Flauntus reveals the seedy underbelly to the dwarves of Ferdulum. However, this information comes at a cost, and his next act of magic will be that of calming the public.
Man, if I open a Flauntus book, like sometime later, and there's like little like spells in there, I'm not picking up the
Okay,
Flauntus book.
you don't take up the Flauntus book. Okay. Writings of the 90th year. Meanderings of what life could have been like at the dawning of life. How Varantuk may have been, and how the gods were before the sundering of their beliefs threw them into war. Okay, so that is the writings of the 90th year. Okay, the last one you find here. Valuable stones and where to find them. A guide to digging amidst the stones for valuable treasure.
Can I flip through that one?
Yeah, you flip through that one. It's like basically panning. It's not quite mining. It's just where to find certain precious metals, stuff like that.
There's no code in that book.
Not that you can
Where?
see.
Well, can I look a little bit closer?
No, with that investigation check. Okay, you on the right side, you see a battle against time. An imagined alternate universe in which Chromus was an evil being of unimaginable power who sought to enslave the world. The fate of all those still living rests on a single bloodline to stop it, who have made it tradition to fight Chromus every second of every day throughout countless generations as to counteract his tribal capabilities.
Yes! Yes! Perfect. Am I missing an inside joke?
Sorry, yeah, that was a deep cut inside joke of it was like we were talking about like fucking how dumb time travel is and like if someone tried to kill Chromus but like they had made it like a cult like from the beginning of time that at some point everybody was trying to fight Chromus, so anytime he tried to time travel back to when someone wasn't fighting Chromus, someone would be fighting Chromus. It was so dumb.
And that one's called A Battle Against Time.
Oh, that's not the full phrase on the entire
Well, that's on the back.
Okay.
That's on the back, yeah.
Okay.
So you find that. You find ripples in the water. A mermaid falls in love with a dwarven woman. Their love is forbidden. However, the ensuing story thrusts the reader through turmoil of the mind, body, and the soul. So that's one. The 26th Cavalry, a fictional tale of the last remaining bastions of life against the forces of evil. The 26th Cavalry, a horse-riding band of humans and elves that drive back the remaining forces of darkness. So that one was the 26th Cavalry. The last one, coming home to nothing. A horrific story of a woman who comes back from war to find that her family has changed faces, swapped entirely with other people. Come with Titiana as she fights against the horrible identity-stealing monsters that ruined her life.
Okay. Can I go to the safe?
You go to the safe.
Wait, are you guys saying this stuff out loud, or like you can just
No,
quietly
hold on. Yeah, so I didn't find anything in any of the books I found, but I just dropped the books on the floor. If I pulled it off, I
Those
didn't
are the
find anything,
interesting
I
books
just-
you find, sure.
Yeah.
So you take all the books that you found and you throw them on the floor.
Anything?
No, nothing's gonna help with it.
Oh, I see where you're coming from. Oh, I see where your brain's going.
Lennox like, where's my brain going?
Brain's
Oh
always
my
going
god,
somewhere.
oh my god, you're so fucking smart.
Thank you.
You're so smart.
I don't know what's happening.
Can you read
Yeah.
Can you read
What do you mean?
all of the names that have a number in it?
From what? What are you
All
talking
of the book names that have a number in it. You are so fucking smart.
Was that where you were going?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So, okay.
Starting from the top left that I went to first. So I have some of them.
You're gonna have to just see all of the books again.
Sure.
Okay, so on the one that you first, the bookshelf, the ones that you first looked at, War of My Heart, Ranger, I barely knew her, The Power of Seven Spells,
And this is the bookcase if
that's to the left of the door.
to the left of the door. Okay.
The Power of Seven Spells, How to Drink an Elf's Guide, books in the far left corner, Two and Two Together at Last, Gravely Mistaken, Catapults and How to Build Them, Tales of the Mouse King, Volume 1, The Defense of Hagrin Depths. Okay?
Okay.
Books on his desk, Lycanthropy, Good or Evil, a look at the discrepancies between certain curses, How to Cook a Good Mushroom, and Edible Plants Found Within Caves. Books on the far right near the
And this is
Fireplace.
far right from the door.
Mhm.
Okay.
The Tales of Flauntus, The Ruse of Furdulum, Writings of the 90th Year, Valuable Stones and Where to Find Them. Books on the right corner that Nasu
Yeah,
found.
I'll bring them over.
A Battle Against Time, Ripples in the Water, the 26th Cavalry, and Coming Home to Nothing.
2,000 years later.
Does the dash count as one?
No.
Okay.
It's 21 in the 26th Cavalry.
It's 21.
Okay.
21, 23, 29, 21.
God fucking, are you fucking serious? You just spell out the fucking God.
Nice job to both of you who figured it out. Lamech, you were so close. Like 15 minutes ago, you were like, "What if I?" And then I was like, "So you're
It's too
counting
much work.
I was like, "So you're counting it out?" And you're like, "No, I gave up." And I was like, "Okay." So, congratulations! Let's fucking go. Lamech and Tristan and Vivian gets an honorable prize for sitting there in the back.
Bitch, I was trying. I
Yeah. Okay. You open the safe. It slides open, discovering a few items within. What looks to be a flintlock pistol, a golden hammer with designs of a golden sun sprouting from it like a sunrise. The sun's flames painted in immaculately shaded oranges and yellows mixed with gold. The grip is made from the same marble and hornblende mixture of the stone you've seen, coming to a small lip just underneath the barrel and around the trigger that looks to be that of opalite that just barely protrudes from the gun. The butt of the gun is capped with a fine silver and jeweled with rubies, the signature of the Aralendi, 6 of them cut in a diamond shape and set within the silver. The trigger and the trigger guard are also silver, the trigger guard in the shape of a cloud that curves around the trigger's form and billows out towards the center. The barrel of the gun is a polished steel with roots growing out from the hammer and coalescing at the base of a tree towards the muzzle, which subtly explodes out like a horn, revealing intricately carved and painted light green and brownish orange leaves. You also find what appear to be 2 greater healing potions and 2 diamond rings, each made of silver with rubies decorating the outer edges, possibly wedding rings.
Where we are now is very dangerous. Obviously, Clink is no longer with us at this moment. And a long time ago, I prepared something for all of you. And I feel really bad that I was too shy to give this to Clink when he was alive, well, when he was with us. He's still trapped in that gem now, so maybe he can get it later, but if you can hold on to it for me, that would be great. Just in case.
Okay.
Make sure it's the right one.
Nice.
This one is for him. Just keep it with the gem, please.
And I'll tuck it in my bag.
I wrote this one for you, Nasu. And Vivian, this is yours. Just after we left, what did you guys call it? Brush of Stone?
Right.
Right before we met with Ivar for the second time.
Right.
Or right after we met Ivar for the second time. If I don't live tomorrow, I think it's just nice for you guys to have it.
Some shame can swallow light. Some hearts are made to spite. Some hate we find can bend the mind and always clouds our sight. That is a good poem. That is a good poem.
Some flames just won't let go. Some fires burn the soul. Some whispers, sparks. Some truth is dark. Some fevered hearts are cold.
are nice.
Those are really nice.
Those are nice poems.
Yeah. Whispers and sparks.
Okay, fuck.
That's nice of him.
Yeah. It was. We should rest.
Okay. You don't have anything to say?
Do you?
Sorry, I got uppity earlier about Clint.
It's fine.
This is just already unfair enough that Alvar took all his shit. And then,
Yes, he didn't really gain much by traveling with us. Eupheme's asleep, so he can't dissuade me from saying this, but most people who tend to travel with me don't really seem to get much out of it. I'm gonna do my best to not let that happen to you too.
I mean, yeah, that's a motivation of mine as well.
I'm worried that we might be able to find another body for this thing. And it's not going to be Clink. That's my fear.
Yeah, I can see that happening, but I have hope. Remember when he said, he talked to us about his first memories, and then it seemed like that there was a gap in time, and then he woke up again. I have a feeling.
I'm just wondering if perhaps it's the eternal soul. This is a conjecture, obviously, but I'm worried that it is a storage device for a soul. And in this mechanism, it can live. But if it dies, then the item is vacant again for another soul.
I guess, but you saw it when we pulled it out. It was glowing.
It's not anymore, is it?
It's still glowing.
It's different, though. It feels different.
Okay, I can understand your anxiety about it. Sure, it's a valid fear.
I just hope that, it's not like any of this is really going to be worth his life if we don't save it. It's not like he gave it up for something valiant. We'll just have to see what we can do. So that we can, honor him or bring him back or something.
Alright. I think we're honoring him by continuing and by progressing on what he set out to help you with. It's not like he, left and we all just threw our hands up.
We'll honor him by living.
Yeah.
Because if we die, that will just be an unfortunate end to all of this entire story.
Yeah, nobody wanted to die before Clink died. So, not much has changed except that he's just not here right now.
Yeah.
Alright.
We should rest.
You guys go to sleep,
Yep.
Yes.
and that's what we're gonna call it. Good session.